Hi everybody, welcome to the That's Football and welcome to the 3pms. We're live with a watch-along. There are 3 games. There's Liverpool against Palace. Liverpool can go 4th with a win, but probably more eyes, if we're being completely honest, is on the relegation zone because West Ham are at home to Everton and Spurs are away to Wolves. And realistically, if West Ham can win and Spurs lose, I'd say that's probably that. It's probably over. If we put the league table up for you, just so you can see that. Obviously, everyone's around 3 o'clock about to start here. But as you can see, Spurs on 31, West Ham on 33 before it kicks off. Look, if West Ham lose and Spurs win, it's West Ham in the bottom 3. But I think West Ham have got to win these home games, haven't they? And Spurs have just got to win games. So I don't know. I don't know how this plays out today. I mean, what did me and Robbie say? We both had Liverpool winning. We both had a draw in the Villa game. Villa lost 1-0 to Fulham. And we both had, let me just get the timer ready here. About ready to go. We'll feature Liverpool Palace, but we'll be definitely keeping an abreast of other things. Yeah, Robbie went with a West Ham draw against Everton. I've gone with a West Ham win. We've both gone with Spurs beating Wolves. So very excited about this today. Hope you're doing very well. Hope everyone's having a good day. It's a fantastically hot day in the UK. It's one of those where if it wasn't such an important afternoon in the Premier League, I would be out in the garden, you know, doing keepy ups in my shorts, you know, and a t-shirt. I'm not taking my top off, but you know, I probably would be doing that. But this is you know, this is what it's like in the summer, isn't it? Which is why I'm glad I'm glad the World Cup is in these states, because I hate it in the summer when it's hot and you're inside watching football, but those games will be a little bit later. So Liverpool have got the opportunity of going into 4th place today as well. Villa lost. I mean, it's interesting with Villa, isn't it? Because if Liverpool can push Villa into 5th and Villa win the Europa League, that means 6th gets Champions League, which would be in this case Brighton. Somebody said, what are Fulham doing? Well, they've just beaten Villa, but even with that win, they're joint with Chelsea. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? You can't see Fulham on that screen because that must be wrong. It's probably because of points as it stands, isn't it? But Fulham, not as it stands, have got 48 points, which puts them level with Chelsea. And you know, as we know, Chelsea ain't playing very well. Fulham's running is a bit tough though. Arsenal away, Bournemouth at home, Wolves away, Newcastle at home. But look, it's up for grabs, isn't it? Fulham in the Champions League, 6th place, could get Champions League football. Could do. Anyway, West Ham Everton, Wolves Tottenham, and Villa Liverpool. We will keep you up to date with all of those. Get in the comments as always. Very, very good to have you all here. Fulham are a very decent team, says Rince. Yeah, I think Fulham are the quintessential Premier League side. I've said it many times. I used to say it on the podcast with Will. Fulham are the quintessential Premier League side. They can beat anybody. And they can lose to anybody as well. Thanks for the super chat from 242. He says, do you think Wolves would rather Spurs stay up? Better to battle West Ham for promotion next season in the Championship. I know a few Wolves fans. One of the lads who plays for Seb's team, he's a Wolves fan, and so is his dad. They were saying last week that they've not really got anything to play for because they're going to go down at some point. So being the team that beats Spurs and sends them down, I don't think Wolves fans look at it and go, we don't want Spurs in the Championship because that's one team that might go up above us. There's 3 spots. So I think Wolves want to take them down, is my opinion. Jade says, have you had your Moscow Mule yet? I haven't. I won't be having any alcohol today. I had too much on Thursday night. I was out on Thursday night and I had a couple last night on the Bundesliga. So tonight I'm going to go drink free. Yeah. But it's great weather to do it. Sorry, we've got somebody in the chat doing capital letters, and I'm sorry, mate. I'm going to put you in a timeout, Abdi, because it's just not right. You can't. When we see false information, we will block you. Basically, what he was saying is if Villa finished 5th, 6th places in the Champions League, he's completely wrong. Villa have to win the Europa League for 5th place to go down to 6th. 5th place in the Premier League is a coefficient allocation. It's been allocated to our league because of performance in Europe. So if 5th place can't take up that place, it goes down to 6th. That's what happens. But it only works with Villa if they win the Europa League, because Villa would be 5th into the Europa League with a Champions League spot, which can't be reallocated to anybody because you get it for winning. So therefore 6th becomes the Champions League spot. So Villa in 5th, win the Europa League, 6th place in the Champions League becomes a Champions League spot. Be careful of misinformation, because that is factual. Even I didn't know that a couple of weeks ago. Palace nearly just scored, by the way. A cross came into the box. Terrible defending by Liverpool. Brennan Johnson could have tapped it in, but he hasn't. Do you think Forest are safe now? Yeah. Leeds and Forest are safe. Leeds and Forest are safe. Do you think Chelsea should get Tuchel? Robert, if Chelsea get Tuchel, it will embarrass Man United even more. Because Man United wanted Tuchel and he said, no, I'll stay at England. Now, if Chelsea go and get him out of England, it just shows you they've made him an offer he can't refuse, but it just shows you how crap United are. I didn't see the Forest game yesterday. I was watching Leipzig against Union Berlin on here with our Bundesliga footage, which was a very good game, actually. But, yeah, Forest and Leeds will be fine now. Yeah, both of them will be absolutely fine. In my opinion, I don't think there needs to be any concerns about them. Have you seen... you've just got yourself blocked, Evan, you racist. Just don't, like, even interact with people like that. Don't give them any oxygen. Evan/0080, if you can see his comment, has paid money to make a racist comment. What you can do is report him to YouTube and he might get a knock on the door, which would be fantastic. In fact, let me just do it as well. Is it hate speech or is it... Yeah, it's definitely hate speech, yeah. There we go. Oh dear. I do hope you were using Mummy's credit card as well, because I'm sure she's going to be really appreciative of that, especially if she's got a job. You're racist. Should Chelsea get Tuchel in? Thank you very much. Have you been to Cardiff, Mark? Says LM. I've never been to... No, I've never been to Cardiff. To the detriment of my friendship with Jordan, who is a DJ and Man United fan who goes on the United stand quite a lot. He's always saying, come to Cardiff, it's great. I mean, I was at Liverpool on Monday night for the Baller League. It's another sellout on Monday night. Unfortunately, I'm not there, which is very, very frustrating. But Liverpool was incredible. So I do want to go to Cardiff because loads of people say it's really good. Liverpool nearly scoring from a corner there, but they've cleared it away. Thanks for your early super chats, LM and Rupert. You can do that through the $sign. We'll read those out. More importantly, we are only 300 subscribers from 1.47 million. More importantly, take away the million, 470,000, we'd be only 30k away from 1.5 million. So please do subscribe, get involved with That's Football. Big summer ahead. I can tell you that the World Cup plans are well in place, and very excited for what some of the stuff we've got coming up for you. Plenty of watch-alongs. We're going to be with you for a lot of the games, and you know, won't do every game. That would be sad, but we will be doing a lot of them. So looking forward to Scotland against Haiti at 2 a.m. I am, though, actually, because so many of you, some of you will be watching it at 2 a.m. where you are now. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the World Cup. Still 0-0 in all the games. West Ham 0, Everton 0, Wolves 0, Tottenham 0, and Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 0. Very end-to-end game in all of them at the moment, especially Palace having a go against Liverpool. Liverpool, obviously, with their goalkeeper, Woodman. No Mustashville, because he's injured, and no Alisson, who apparently is meant to be leaving Liverpool in the summer. And we talk about the evolution of Liverpool and Andy Robertson, Trent, the tragedy loss of Jota, Luis Diaz, Salah's going to go. No one really ever talks about Alisson, but I think Alisson will be on the move this summer as well, from what we're hearing. So Spurs are all over Wolves, says Darren. I think Spurs... The thing is, I think Spurs will win, because I don't think Spurs... I think Spurs will win because I don't think Wolves are a very good team. 72% possession for Spurs in the first few minutes there. So Spurs have to win that. They have to win it. Absolutely have to win it. What's the Spurs lineup, Mark? So, I mean, they have picked Basuma, which I think is always dangerous. Bentancur, Gallagher, Basuma is the midfield. Porro, Danzo, Van der Ven, Spence and Kinksky. Simmons, Mwani and Solanke as their front three. So, but they have to win. They have to win today. They do. They really do. Hi, Mark. What are your thoughts on Slot staying, says Chris? Well, hopefully we've got a few Liverpool fans in the chat. I'm very happy about it as a Man United fan. And I'm not saying that from a, I'm not trying to wind Liverpool fans up because you've done it to us. I remember many Liverpool fans saying, I hope you keep Ten Hag. I hope you keep Moyes. And I'm the same. I don't think things are going to get better for Liverpool under Slot. So I'm not saying they're going to get horrific, but I don't think they're going to win. I don't see you challenging for the title next season. I think you're a long way off that. Sylvie is lying in the sun on a Saturday afternoon listening to Goldbridge. Doesn't get much better than that. Hope you're well, Mark. Well, you sound like you're very well. And I love that. I love that. I love being on holiday on my sun lounger, listening to a podcast or reading a good book. So enjoy. It's good for the soul. Just don't get burnt. Plenty of sun cream. And Palace had a chance there. Cross came in. Directive of the header wasn't good enough, but there we go. Well, Liverpool fans, what do you think about keeping Slot? You tell us. I mean, look, I'm not saying it's a definite. It's not like when you had Roy Hodgson. I'm not saying it's a definite fail. I just don't think it. I just don't think it will work out. I can't wait. Yes, I know. I can't wait for the Champions League games on Tuesday and Wednesday. Busy week this week. So Monday night, Man United are playing Brentford. Baller League, we're playing United, Ginger's team. I think we're first up at 5, so I can watch the United game. Tuesday, PSG against Bayern. Can't wait for that. Wednesday, Arsenal, Atletico Madrid. Thursday, I am going to do Forest Villa because it's, Europa League semi-final between two English clubs. And then next weekend, United are playing Liverpool, which is a big game. Someone just said you've not mentioned it's FA Cup weekend. I mean, does that not serve my point? Can I get some apologies now? This is why when the Premier League, after the international break, didn't have Premier League games and had the FA Cup quarterfinals. This is what I'm talking about. Nobody gives a shit. No one gives a shit about the FA Cup. Do you care about Man City against Southampton today? I'm only doing Chelsea Leeds tomorrow because it's a Premier League game. Yeah, I've got no. The FA Cup should not have its own weekends anymore. It's boring. I've got no interest in it. I really don't. My brother Dylan said we as Liverpool fans should group together and slap Slot's bald head. What do you think? Says your pals. That would be an assault. That would be an assault. You know what? I'm going to say something here that probably gets me into trouble, but I'm still going to say it. I've been to Liverpool twice in the last few years, considering what I do. And one of them was at Anfield. And the hospitality, the stewards, they were brilliant. They were taking a piss because they don't like United, but they were, it was banter. It was a good laugh and they were good people. And again, on Monday night at Baller League, I did loads of photos, spoke to loads of people. Loads of them were shouting United to shit and stuff like that. But the banter and people were really good. And I think that does need calling out because it's not always like that when you go to certain cities. So I've had 2 experiences of Liverpool now, and both of them, for me, I mean, it's obviously there's connections with Ireland. It reminds me a lot of Dublin. There's very similar vibes there. What is there's a load of somebody in the chat says that Liverpool fans are holding up a load of caution yellow posters. Does anyone know what that's all about? I've seen a few people talking about that. Apparently the whole ground are holding up these yellow posters saying caution. I don't know what that's all about. If anyone in the chat does. Title race on if Arsenal wins, says Star. Arsenal have got to win. We are doing the Arsenal game, yes, at 5:30. They have to win. Mark, at what age did you start losing your hair? I haven't started losing my hair. My hairline's been the same since I was about 16, so I've never started losing my hair. Thank you, Mason. My brother, thank you very much for that. I'm just trying to see if anybody... Sometimes my live chat does mess around a lot at the moment, so I'm just refreshing it here. It's about ticket prices. Protest for ticket prices. Well, fair play. I applaud that because it's disgusting. I think it's the perfect platform is That's Football. The Bundesliga atmospheres are incredible. I know they don't have the money the Premier League has, but their atmospheres are incredible. Their clubs are mainly at least half owned by the fans. They go absolutely batshit crazy if there is any ticket prices rises. But in the Premier League, we're pricing out the ordinary fan. You know, cost of living crisis, energy prices going up. We are pricing out fans. So well done to Liverpool Football Club for doing that, because it's disgusting. Man United are a prime example. I'm sure it's the same in every other Premier League club. We didn't qualify for Europe. However, we made the same amount of money from 10 home games that we did from 15 last year. Figure it out. How do you make the same amount of money from 10 games that you made from 15 last year? You rinse your fans. It's disgusting. And everyone puts up with it because you know what it comes down to with money? As long as I can pay for my ticket, I don't give a shit about anybody else. And that's how people get left behind. Yeah. Thanks everyone who's watching. Please do share the video. We've got nearly 7,000 watching. Thank you very much. No goals so far in the Premier League. It's 0-0 between Liverpool and Palace. A very equal game in the first 15 minutes at Anfield. It's West Ham 0, Everton 0. I can tell you in that game so far, and it'll be a tough game for West Ham. Very, very equal. No shots on target, but Everton with slightly more possession. But West Ham have had more shots, 4-2, but none on target. So 0-0 there. You can probably expect quite a tight game there. Wolves against Tottenham is still 0-0. However, when last we checked, Spurs were dominating the game and still are. 70% possession to 30% for Wolves. Wolves haven't had a shot at all. But Spurs, who've had 3 corners and 3 shots, nothing on target yet, although they have had one big chance. So there we go. Looking good for Spurs at the moment, but they're not actually winning. They have to win. They have to win. Okay, let me get this chat going. Okay. Let me just do that. Mike says, Mark's losing his hair and not 6 foot tall, but don't say anything or you could be blocked. But it's misinformation, mate. It's misinformation, isn't it? Whatever helps you sleep at night, you believe what you want. I don't really care whether I'm losing my hair or not, because I'll just go to Turkey and I'll have some more added on. It doesn't bother me. And I am 6 foot. And I'm not. And my hairline is the same as what I had when I was 16. But if it bothers you, I'm going bald and I'm 5'5". You know, I'm just here to make people happy. Enjoy the stream. Hi Mark, if Alisson goes in the summer, it'd be a big blow, and Slot should go in the summer as well, says Becky. Well, I'm only feeding what I've been told, that Alisson's gone in the summer, and I think Juventus has been mentioned. That's a good. Oh, here we go again. You're not 6 foot, but I am. It's been proven. And I don't really care if I'm 5'10". I am 6 foot. It's not me. It bothers. It's the masses in the chat who just don't like the fact that if you stood next to me, I might be an inch or 2 taller. Who gives a shit? Ronnie Corbett was 5'5". He was a comedic genius. You know, Messi's the best player that's ever played. Eredivisie also bad, says the UK Ajaxa. €100 plus even for non-hospitality. It is incredible what they're doing to fans. It really is. Hamza's moaning about the hairline as well. Look, I'm enjoying the stream, but there seems to be a lot of people who obviously are not very happy with themselves today. You know, all I'm doing is sending love and happiness, because we're not here for a very long time. We're here for a good time. Stop upsetting yourselves about how other people live their lives and start looking at your own lives, you know? There's lots of happiness out there. What's for dinner, Mark, says Ollie. I've already had my dinner. I've already had it. Because I'm busy, aren't I? So I'm doing this till sort of 5, and then 5:30 it's Arsenal, Newcastle till about 7:30. Then I'm on the United stand at 8. So 9 o'clock, I ain't eating then. So I had biryani and naan bread and mushroom bhaji. It was very nice. No goals in the 3 o'clocks yet. Is it the calm before the storm? I think going back to that question about whether there's a title race for Arsenal, I'd be very, very worried about Man City playing Villa at the Etihad last game of the season. I can just see City could win that like 9-0 if they needed to. And I think Emery would help them and probably go up front for them. So also, Arsenal have played so pragmatic all season. Another good chance for Palace there. Cut back into Brennan Johnson over the bar. If he could finish, it could be 2-0 to Palace. Liverpool looking a bit leggy at the back. Again, not very convincing so far. In fact, Liverpool fans, talk to me. We've had 20 minutes. It's been poor. Been very, very poor. Bayern a 3-0 down, Mark, says Anthony. I guarantee, I'll have a look in a minute, but I guarantee it's a Bayern side that's resting for Tuesday, considering PSG probably aren't playing this weekend either. But yeah, I think it's very difficult for Arsenal because they've been such a pragmatic team all season. And now they basically know they've got to win every game and win it by a lot. So it'll be interesting to see what Arsenal do, really. PSG are playing today, says King Chris. Thank you, King Chris. Let's have a quick look. So PSG are playing at 6 o'clock tonight. Bayern are... I mean, Mainz... Talk about Mainz, though. Mainz did get a draw against... against Bayern earlier on in the season. But they are 3-0 down at half-time. The lineup for Bayern is Nicholas Jackson, Guerrero, Goretzka, Diaz, Pavlovic, Ndai, Davies, Ito, Kim, Lema, and Erbig. So there's a lot of changes there. A lot of changes. Guess who's the best player on the pitch? Sano. Sign him up. Sign up Sano. I'm telling you. Fantastic player at Mainz. Really good midfielder. He'd be brilliant for somebody like Everton or Palace or Fulham. Sano, Mainz. Sign him up. You'll see him in the World Cup anyway for Japan. Harvey says, do you find it annoying that you've got to do watch-alongs on sunny weekends for teams you don't support? No hate. Well, I don't have to. I've never had to do anything, and that's never, ever going to change. I set my own schedule, and that will always be the case. But Liverpool have got a good breakaway here. And... there's a little bit of look of a penalty. The referee is waiting. Salah's looking for a penalty. If it's given, it will be a red. I think he might have given it. I think he might have given this. Brennan Johnson's had a really bad game for Palace. He's had 2 good chances and missed, and now I think he's brought Salah down, and he's had an absolute nightmare of a game. And a lot of people in the chat are saying, we think it's a penalty. Probably does get a little touch on the ball. I think he gets a slight touch. He's very lucky. Very lucky. And I don't think Salah massively pushed for it either. Yeah, he was. He's very lucky there, Brennan Johnson. No penalty. Robson says Ronnie Corbett's 5 foot, Anton's 3'4". He's just going to check it on VAR. So am I. I've got my own VAR camera in the hall. Yeah, definitely not a penalty for me. Thanks to the Premier League for supplying me with my VAR screen. Definitely not a penalty. It's close, but no penalty, says Dougie. I don't think he even touches Salah anyway, does he? I don't think Arne Slot's particularly happy. Frankie FC says, what happened to the 10 o'clock show today? It's news to me. Yep, still there. Is that the 10 o'clock show called New Transfer Blow that's on the United stand for 46 minutes? Yeah, still there, mate. Going back to that question, do you find it annoying that you've got to do watch-alongs on sunny weekends, says Harvey. I've been doing watch-alongs for years, mate. I didn't do Villa Fulham, and I don't do games I don't want to do. I think today, because of the relegation, you feel like you want to be part of it, don't you? So, although we haven't got a goal yet, it just feels like it's a big moment in the Premier League. Should it have been a penalty? Well, we can run a poll. Very easy. Was it a penalty for Liverpool? There's two things for me. Was it a penalty? It was definitely reckless by Brennan Johnson, and he's definitely lucky. There are two reasons I wouldn't give the penalty. One, he does get a slight touch on the ball, but two, I don't think he touches Salah at all anyway. I don't think he even touched him. Dot says no penalty, but a foul and yellow. How can you give a foul outside the box? It was inside the box. Mark is 6'1" in 2 separate measurements, says Mr. Nin. Also, Harry with a super chat says, hope you're doing well. Have you seen some of the current scores in Germany this afternoon? Not looking great for St. Pauli. I didn't look at any other results actually. St. Pauli losing to Heidenheim at half time is not good. Yeah, that isn't good. Still 0-0 West Ham, Everton. Still 0-0 Wolves, Tottenham. Tottenham had a lot of the ball so far, but not put it in the back of the net. No shots on target for Tottenham after nearly half an hour, but 71% possession. Ninja says, does the Premier League need to go to fan ownership? Well, I think it does, but it never will. Never will. I think we're wrong about the Brighton manager. I think we were wrong about the Brighton manager, says SG Man. Well, wrong and right, really. I think last season they massively underachieved. This season, I think they're doing they're doing better than probably what people expected. Standard of the league poor this year, but can't knock the excitement of so many teams having so much to play for, says Martin. Yeah, completely agree. Especially the race for the race for 6th place is fascinating at the moment, isn't it? It really is. Thank you very much for that. Thanks for that. Andreas says, Mark, you've conquered every platform. Is the exclusive couples match Watch subscription next. Asking purely for research purposes. Is the exclusive couples match what? I don't know what that is, Andres. I don't know whether you're being cheeky or telling the truth. Hamza said, if you went back to 1900, how would you prove you're from the future? Man, I wouldn't even bother trying. In them days, they wouldn't mess about. They'll stick you in prison or hang you or something like that. I don't care. I wouldn't tell them. I'd keep it to myself. Would you go back to the olden days and tell them you were from the future? They'd put you in a bloody asylum or something like that. I'll be absolutely fine. Thank you very much. Let's have a look at West Ham Everton. So, stats so far, we've got 50-50 on possession. West Ham have started to have a lot more shots. Last time we looked at West Ham Everton, Everton had the better start. No shots on target for either team, but West Ham have had 7 shots and Everton have had 2. 50-50 possession. Very, 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 very tight game there. The goals are going to be so important in the West Ham, Everton and Wolves Tottenham game. Everybody feels it's that now, don't they? Andreas says OnlyFans. Yeah, I'm not doing OnlyFans, mate. 79% say it wasn't a penalty. Thank you so much. Nearly 9,000 watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. What do you think about Millwall might be in the Premier League next season? I haven't looked at the Championship, pal. Let me have a quick look. Could be good results for United today, though. Villa aren't joint third with United, but obviously they've lost. And if Liverpool don't win here, our chances of third place increase. So Millwall are level on points with Ipswich, 80 points, but they've played a game more. Looking like Wrexham are going to slip into the playoffs as well. I mean, I'd be very intrigued if Wrexham made it, you know. I'm actually quite excited about seeing Wrexham or Birmingham in the Premier League because they've got the money. They've got the money to come in and make an impact, haven't they? As Kaj says, he wants Wrexham to go up. I'm quite comfortable with that. Becky Hale wants Millwall. I mean, I remember Millwall being in the old Division 1 when I was a kid. I'm trying to think of players who played for Teddy Sheringham, Neil Ruddock. Yeah, that's about it, really. Never been in the Premier League, no. Salah just had a chance at hitting it over the bar, says Leisure. Who do you think is going to win the World Cup, says D? I think Chelsea are... Oh, it's not Chelsea. That's the Club World Cup. I think France have to be huge favourites when you look at Mbappe, Elise, Cherki, Dembele. But I do think England have got a chance if they play to your strengths. Are Villa running out of steam, says Evan. I don't think they're running out of steam. I watched a little bit of Villa today. I don't know whether we've got any Villa fans in. I don't think Villa are running out of steam. I think Villa have got their eyes on something else. And to be honest with you, going all out for third or fourth when you can just finish fifth, I don't think Villa really need to... You know, they're focused on winning the Europa League, aren't they? If you look at the league table, they've got 58 points and Brighton are 8 points behind them. And Chelsea are 10 points behind them with 4 games to go. So Villa probably only need one more win to finish in the top 5. And they've got these massive games against Forest coming up. So I just think with Villa, they're just probably not as motivated in the Premier League as they are in the other games. And look, if you look at their last few games, they've got Spurs at home, Burnley away, Liverpool at home, and City away. And they only need one win. Mr. Nin says, would you rather win back-to-back Champions League or one Premier League? What, United? I mean, I wouldn't mind winning back-to-back Champions League because we've only won it 3 times, so that would take us up to 5. I think I'd take the back-to-back Champions League, yeah. Because you'd be in the top. Yeah, I'd take back-to-back Champions League, yeah. Constantine says, does hating family make you a bad person? I think hating in general should be avoided because hate is something that you carry. And it's not a positive, is it? So... Goal for Liverpool, although I think there might be an offside. Isak is still celebrating though. Palace have got their hands up, but it looks like it's 1-0 and it's Isak. I didn't even give you the Liverpool team, did I? I don't know how valid the offside shouts are going to be here. Not for Chelsea, for Liverpool. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up again. Well, they don't. Liverpool players don't seem to be particularly concerned, and I'll have to wait and see what happens here. No, he's absolutely not offside. He's miles onside. Easily 1-0 to Liverpool there. Isak with the goal. And I was going to say that would be a positive for Liverpool. It will be a positive for Liverpool, but they're not in any trophies anyway, are they? So they'd just be going for the top 4 now. What's your largest ever viewership on a watch-along, including United Stand? What's your biggest video ever? Says Ray. I don't keep a track. I genuinely don't keep track of it. You could probably tell me by just doing a couple of quick checks. I remember we've had over 120,000 people watching on both channels on certain games. Yeah. Definitely England a couple of times in major tournaments. We've gone north of 120k. And definitely Man United in a few big games like Lyon, Liverpool, a couple of others. Ajax, yeah. Pyrex says, guys are celebrating £150 million striker doing his job. Look, if in fairness to Liverpool, if Isak can start scoring goals, then it's something they can work with for next season. I mean, they spent a lot of money on a player that just hasn't been able to be fit. So, as much as you'd expect him to score that goal, I understand why Liverpool fans are embracing it, because they've got to embrace something for next season, haven't they? He was one of the Premier League's best strikers last year. United fan wondering, what do you call this tactic on display here of getting the ball down the wing and then kicking it into the forwards, into the box? Says Stuart Chase. What do you call... What, wing play? Yeah. Jamie Church says you had 130,000 plus watching for United Grimsby. Yeah, but I blanked that one out. Who do you want to go down, Spurs or West Ham, says OJ. I didn't think I was that bothered until Spurs played Brighton last week. And when they went 2-1 up, I realised I'd probably like to see Spurs go down over West Ham. And it's not because I dislike Spurs, because I don't. It's just because I think big clubs need a warning that they're not invincible. And I think the way that United's been run and Chelsea's being run and Spurs has been run, it's almost as if they know they can have bad seasons, but it will never be that bad. And I think if Spurs go down, it just shows you that, you know, nobody is beyond that. Spurs shouldn't be going down. They really shouldn't be going down. But look, if they don't win today, I think there is a big chance. We're only 100 people away from 10,000 watching, by the way, so please do share the video. Gavhouse says Isak is due another injury. Well, hopefully not. Judge says, I appreciate you, Mark. You should know my name by now. Well, I do now. Looking forward to your watch-along between France and Norway on the 26th of June, 8 p.m. Noosa going to rip that French defence apart. Well, Run, I will definitely be doing that game. I haven't decided what games I'm doing yet. I always look forward to that. I do the list and I say, I'm doing that, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. But I'll definitely do France against Norway, yeah. Danish says, how is Woodman performing for Liverpool? He's not really been tested yet. Palace had a couple of chances, but nothing that have really troubled the goalkeeper. Until now! And then he makes a great save. There we go. Bit of a jinx, but he made a good save. It was a good header from 6 yards out. So he got down low. Thank you very much to Run. Who deserves... Rossi says, who deserves... And at the other end, it's game over. It's Andy Robertson, I think, who scored. That's game over on the break. Palace could have scored at the other end. Woodman made a great save. And then Liverpool go up the other end and probably put the game to bed. So Solanke's got a hamstring injury, which I can neither confirm or deny. We might be able to get that for you. Lyons says that Solanke has a hamstring injury. And so does Time Lord. Well, I think the Liverpool game's over now, so we'll focus a little bit more on the relegation games because Liverpool look like they're going to get the 3 points. Thank you so much. Who deserves the Premier League title based on football style? City. Definitely City. I've said for months that City played the best football. And I don't mind watching City this year. But they definitely do play the best football, yeah. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. We're 5 minutes away from half-time. No goals in the relegation games. We're 250 subscribers away from 470,000, by the way. So please click and subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Get involved with That's Football, daily content. Everyone's welcome. It doesn't matter who you support. Don't forget, we've got Arsenal against Newcastle after this at 5:30. And then tomorrow, we've got Everton against Leeds. No, not Everton. Chelsea against Leeds in the FA Cup semi-final. And Tuesday... What a game. PSG Bayern. Absolutely can't wait. Monday night, live, United stand, Brentford United at Old Trafford. Yeah, still 0-0 West Ham, Everton, still 0-0 Wolves, Tottenham. Huge games. Lovely goal by Andy Robertson. He took it well. Apologies about some people in the chat. There's a few weirdos in there today, but the mods are doing a great job. Chance that Brighton get Champions League, says Anna. Well, when you look at it today, I think as things stand, Liverpool are into 4th and Villa are into 5th. So if Villa win the Europa League, Brighton are in the Champions League. If Villa finish 5th, and win the Europa League, 6th place is Champions League. So as things stand, if the season finished like this, Brighton would be in the Champions League, yeah. Which would be incredible for Brighton. Absolutely incredible. And again, I'd rather see Brighton in the Champions League than Chelsea because, again, it's a bit like Spurs getting relegated over West Ham. Why should West Ham get relegated? They've been relegated before. Why can't a big club go down? Why should Chelsea get 6th place? They've been in the Champions League before. Why can't Brighton get it? Now, obviously, after 38 games, you end where you deserve to be. But, you know. Who's third in the table right now? Man United. We've scored more goals. Liverpool score another one and they're third. But we'll be third anyway on Monday when we beat Brentford. So Liverpool thinking they're getting third. We'll beat Brentford and then we'll beat you. I'll give you those predictions now. Doesn't mean I'm going to be right, but I've been saying it for weeks. We'll beat Brentford and we'll beat Liverpool. We're going to do Liverpool home and away this year. which doesn't happen very often. We're going to do Liverpool home and away. Oil Cruiser says, you said big clubs need a warning, but what about Spurs? Ba-dum-dum. Brentford could still get Champions League football. Well, if Brentford beat us, they'd go into 6th place on 51 points. You're right. But it's a big but. I mean, sorry, it's a big if. Yeah. Who do you think will win the Scottish Premiership? Not Hearts, unfortunately. I'd like them to, but I don't think they will. I'm a Brighton fan, and I wanted Hertzler out, says Tom. I think he did drop the ball a little bit with the squad you had, but he has done well this season. No two ways about it. Be interesting. It looks like it's going to be 0-0 between Wolves and Tottenham at half-time. And it will be interesting because Tottenham, a draw's not good enough, is it? So they will need to start committing more people forward. And absolutely spot on, whoever said it, Solanke did pick up an injury. And therefore, he's gone off. Obviously, they've got options. I mean, I don't wish injury on anybody, but I don't want Solanke to go to the World Cup. So, yeah, he came off for Richarlison. Oh, surprised Richarlison wasn't starting. I mean, look, Spurs bench, Bergvall, Dragusin, Gray, Palhinha, Maddison, Tell, Richarlison. How can that go down? How can a bench? I mean, that's better than Liverpool's bench. Obviously, Liverpool are way better than Spurs, but player for player, the Spurs squad is incredible. I'm not saying it's better than Man City or Arsenal or whatever, but it shouldn't be in a relegation battle, really. Mr. El Shamari says, I hope Spurs stay up. I'm sure some people do. When was United's last double over Liverpool, says 2 ATP. I mean, someone's going to say Ollie did it, I think. But yeah, somebody will. It won't be Sir Alex. We will have done it. We will have definitely done it. If anyone knows. When was the last time Man United beat Liverpool home and away in the Premier League? Okay, that's very useful. The last time we did it was Wanfield, Van Gaal. September 2015, we beat them 3-1 at Old Trafford. And then January 2016, we beat them with Wanfield, Wanmata. Just looking at the chat here, there's a bit of controversy. Spurs trying to get a red card on Andre. Some people are saying it should have been a red. I think he's given a yellow. Hand of Justice says never a red. Not a red. He pulled out. Never a red. These sort of things, though. To be fair, we never think about this. These sort of decisions can be huge, and we never think about them, do we? We we never think about them until they happen. But there's no review, apparently. It's just going to be a yellow card. So yeah, Man United's last double to ATP, thank you very much for your super chat, was 2015/2016 season, Louis van Gaal. Twisted Monk says, not a red for me, but these days you never know. A few people in the chat saying the game's gone. It was just a very, very competitive challenge, and sometimes you can get hurt. Marge says, hi Mark, do you have any good book or audiobook tips? I have a big flight coming up. Funnily enough, if you go on Amazon, there's a fantastic audiobook read by the author called Football According to Mark Goldbridge. And that will get you through at least 8 hours of a flight, including sleep time, because after a couple of 10 minutes, you'll fall asleep anyway. So no red there, which is probably good if you're a West Ham fan, who are 0-0 at half-time. Spurs game still going on. 2-0 to Liverpool at half-time against Palace. I think a lot of people predicted that Palace have probably got irons in the fire of the Conference League. Of course, they can get into the Europa League by winning that. Still a possibility that we have a Premier League clean sweep of Europe, despite having the piss taken out of us a little bit in certain rounds. We could still be in a position where we win the Conference League, the Europa League and the Champions League. So, we definitely have an English team in the final of the Europa League. Forest play Villa. Palace in the Conference League, and Arsenal are still there as well. Is Slot the right man for Liverpool next season, says Jacob? I think so. As a Man United fan, I think Slot is the right guy. And to be honest with you, it might be a little bit out there, but I would be a little bit brave and give him a 10-year deal with huge payout if you sack him. So I'd give Slot a 10-year deal and then commit to him so much that if you sack him, you have to give him 50 million, so you'll never sack him. And I think, that sort of job security and longevity would be brilliant for Liverpool. So, yeah, I think they should do that. Do you think you'll finish above Liverpool this year, says Ben? Yeah, because I think we'll beat Brentford on Monday, which will put us 3 points ahead of you. And I think we'll beat Liverpool next Sunday as well. I don't think Liverpool have done very well this year, and I don't think Liverpool are very good. But it'll be a good season for them to get Champions League football, because a couple of weeks ago, I really didn't, well, not a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I think it was looking a little bit scary for them. So, Max is off to bed. I presume you don't live in the UK, mate, otherwise you'd be going to bed at 10 to 4 in the afternoon. It's 0-0 in these relegation games. West Ham against Everton, 0-0. Tottenham against Wolves, 0-0. What would that do for the league table? Well, it doesn't help either team at the moment. It just would keep it rolling on. As you can see there, Spurs would be on 32. West Ham would be on 34. Forest, Leeds, safe. That's how it would look. I think the big thing to remember is who has got who left this season. So Spurs, you're starting to run out of games. They'd only have 4 games left. Next weekend, West Ham go to Brentford. Tough game, 3 o'clock next Saturday. Tottenham go to Villa, 7 o'clock next Sunday. Might not be such a tough game because that's sandwiched right in between Villa's Europa League ties. So it might not be a bad time to go to Villa for Spurs. Then the next game for West Ham is they play Arsenal at home, which will be tough. So, West Ham's next 2 games are tough. They've got to try and beat Everton today, because their next 2 games, Brentford away and Arsenal at home, they might not pick up anything, whereas Spurs go to Villa, who've got, one eye on the Europa League, and then their next game is Leeds at home, who will be safe. So Spurs, in a way, the next 2 games could be very, very, very good for them. Final 2 games of the season, you've got Spurs go to Chelsea. I wouldn't fancy that. West Ham go to Newcastle. I wouldn't fancy that. And then final game of the season, Spurs host Everton and West Ham host Leeds. I mean, I still think Spurs have you can make an argument that Spurs have got the better running. Which is why if they can win today, it's big. Rudolph the Red says, do you think Spurs get raided if they go down? Oh yeah, I mean, I think there's Spurs players that want to go. I do. I think there's Spurs players that want to go if they go down. So, absolutely, I do. Everybody get up, sing it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll make you get down now. And let's not write off Everton, by the way. We're all saying can West Ham beat Everton? But Everton are a team that, if they win, looking at the top half of the table, let's get it up on screen. Everton, as it stands, on 48. If they win, they go joint with Brighton in 6th. So it's all very, very congested, isn't it? Might lose. United have not been great recently, says Chilling with Robert. And Ryle says, with everything you've seen in life, should a club manager ever be allowed to co-own a racehorse with the owners? No, probably not the best move. But it was a different time. And probably wasn't the best thing. Was Patrick Vieira and Roy Keane in the tunnel the limelight of the Premier League, says Constantine? It was certainly a highlight. And I think that rivalry was fantastic, to be fair. Penga says, Wolves very lucky, nothing to do with the card, just the fact Basuma was able to carry on. Spurs were almost about to get better if he was subbed. I wonder where you were going with that, Pengas. I have seen the challenge by Gomez. To me, 10 years ago, that's not even a foul. Hold on. We've got a question here from Goo. He says, hello, Mark. Can you briefly explain, I love briefly explaining things, how United improved so much since last season, 15th to 3rd, was abroad, couldn't watch? Well, where were you abroad? Surely they've got telly. The reason, in my opinion, United have gone from 15th to 3rd is multiple. Playing one game a week with a very pragmatic style of football. We're very counter-attacking and we're pretty good defensively. We've added a few more goals with the likes of Cunha, Sesko and Mbuemo. And I think strategically, we've probably done a bit of Data Dean, you know? Well, at the end of the day, we've increased our average goal output from under 1.5 to 2 per game. And statistically, that's given us the required points to put ourselves in the battle for Champions League football. Supplemented by the fact that Liverpool, Chelsea and Newcastle have amazingly dropped off. It's been an open door for Manchester United. And I think there's probably something in that. Yeah, certainly not being in Europe has helped. The pragmatic style of football has helped. And the drop-off of other clubs has helped. So I did read somewhere that this will probably be the lowest points tally to get in the top 5 for a few years. I think 5th place in the last couple of years has been like 65 points. 5th place, not 3rd. I think Brighton. I think it's going to be a low 55, a low 5th place. But look, you take it, don't you? You take it. I think it'll be a very different season next season, and maybe Newcastle do a Man United next season. Maybe Chelsea, if they're not in Europe, do a Man United next season. Because it'll be a different job for us next year, because we'll have to figure out how to do European football and the Premier League. Mr. Nin says, would you rather Man United champions and Premier League double or England win the World Cup? Also, why Liverpool playing? I don't know what that is. I'd rather Man United win the Champions League and the Premier League double over England winning the World Cup. I'd rather Man United win the Champions League over England winning the World Cup. I've grown out of wanting England to win the World Cup. I'd love to see England win the World Cup because I want them to win the World Cup. But I'd take Man United over that now. Definitely. Thanks for the super chats, by the way. Let's have a look at the chat. Slot will start being cocky if they continue winning, says Cesar. Look, he is definitely going to be staying, isn't he? I think it's pretty much established now from credible journalists such as David Ornstein that the expectation is that Arne Slot stays at Liverpool next season. For whatever reason, I don't think they can afford it. I think when Slot said sell to buy a couple of weeks ago, I thought, well, removing Slot costs money, replacing Slot costs money, and then the new manager will want his own players, which costs money. So I think Liverpool have looked at the cost and decided that they'll take the risk of sticking with Slot and hoping that he turns it around. When you say we need 5 to 6 players, does that include loans, Mark? No way Man United buys 6 players. Well, we don't do loans either, Martinez. But yeah, we need 6 to 8 players, I think. A real Englishman sings God Save the Queen. Can you do it for us right now, says Lisa Reynolds. No. Can we have Data Derek, the puppet, please? Data Derek? I don't even know where he is anymore. I don't know where he's gone. Katie says, hope you're enjoying the sun. Can you say hello to Josh? Hello, Josh. Thank you very much, Katie. Should Yamal risk pushing hamstring for the World Cup, says Oil Cruiser? I mean, I would. I mean, if I was a professional footballer, this World Cup, you want to play in it, don't you? You never know. You know, people would say he's got plenty more World Cups for Spain. Well, has he? You know, every 4 years, if you get injured, you don't play in the World Cup, do you? So, I hope he does play in it. I really do. So, yeah, 2-0 to Liverpool at half-time. 0-0 between West Ham and Everton. 0-0 between Wolves and Tottenham. Solanke going off with an injury. The only positive I would say about Solanke going off is that hopefully that means that he won't go to the World Cup for England, because they're just showing pictures here of West Ham. It looks absolutely incredible in the sun in London. The UK is a fantastic country when we get blue skies, you know. It is. There's absolutely no doubt about it. It's a lovely country when it's hot and sunny, but it's few and far between, unfortunately. We are live for Arsenal against Newcastle. I'm intrigued by that, you know. We've had a few title races like this involving Man City. I think Liverpool have done it once or twice. Arsenal have certainly done it once, where Man City are capable of going and winning every single game. And I think that's what Arsenal are going to have to do. And on top of that, they're going to have to win. They have to score a lot of goals. So it's going to be very interesting to see, because Newcastle are on a really bad run of form as well. I mean, today could be the day. I mean, Arsenal could drop points today. They genuinely could drop points today. So I think it's going to be extremely interesting to see how Arsenal approach this. Because we all saw Declan Rice saying this ain't over. Well, you know, they've also got a very big game on Wednesday as well. And Arsenal don't have experience of winning things. And in your head, you want to go for both. But they're on the thinnest of thin ice when it comes to the title race. It could be a difficult game today. Really could. Second halves are about to get up and running. There we go. Liverpool 2-0 up. West Ham and Everton have started as well. Not starting in the Spurs-Wolves game yet because they finished a little bit later. Arsenal versus Newcastle is your 8 o'clock game. No, it's not. It's your 5:30 game. There is no 8 o'clock game today. Apologies. Everton are a good side, though. Yeah, I mean, look, don't knock it. They are a good side. I don't think Rashford's going to go to Barcelona. Lopez and Xavi has been starting over him, and they've got injuries to Rafinha and Yamal. Yeah, it don't look good, does it? Peter says, do you still think Arsenal will win the league like you did earlier in the year? Well, I'm not going to change my mind, Peter, but let's not forget that was a very out there prediction based on the fact that Liverpool were massive favourites. Marge says, even my golden retriever poop looks good in the sunshine, to be fair. It's definitely easier to pick up, isn't it? Worst weather to pick up your dog shit? Raining, autumn, long grass. Best weather? Hot. Short grass. The things we talk about, eh? The things we talk about. Would Arsenal give up the Premier League to win the Champions League? I don't know. I think Arsenal would, at this stage, take the Champions League as a huge positive if they don't win the league. But what's more likely for Arsenal? I mean, they've got 5 Premier League games left, none of which are against the top 4. And they've got 3 Champions League games, which 2 of which will be Atletico Madrid and 1 will be Bayern or PSG. So, you know, great question. Which is the easier one to do? Abak says Bournemouth are the most weird team in the Premier League. No goal, 0 goal difference, has had 16 draws already. I think Iriola's done a great job. I've got absolutely no idea where he's going to end up. I genuinely don't know. I think a lot of people thought he was going to go to Athletic Bilbao, but they've gone and appointed. I can't remember his name. He used to be at Dortmund. DGP says, who do you think will be in the Champions League final and who will win? I think it'll be a tough game for Arsenal against Atletico, but I think they will come through with the second leg at the Emirates. I think it could be Bayern Arsenal. That's what I'm going to go for. But it could be PSG Atletico, like could be PSG Arsenal. But I think PSG Arsenal will be a great game. PSG Bayern will be a great game. Ballboy says, my friend Connor is a United fan and he still believes Amrin was the right man. Well, remember, Amrin didn't get sacked for results. Amrin got sacked for falling out with the director of football. So Connor might not be that wrong. If they'd stuck with him and given him what he wanted, who knows? Pickford's just made an amazing save on the back post. West Ham nearly scored. They probably should have scored. Sam Gam says West Ham should have scored. So yeah, Liverpool 2-0 up against Palace. Wolves, Tottenham still 0-0. And still 0-0 between West Ham and Everton. There's a goal for Stoke City, says Finley. Apparently they're checking a potential penalty in the Everton game. I don't know why. They're trying to say there might be a handball, but I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know what they're looking at here. Not being given anyway. I don't think it matters because West Ham have scored. I'm getting this from the chat. West Ham have scored. I'm just looking at our score updater. And I think West Ham have scored from a corner. Soucek, 1-0. Big goal that. You want to be scoring first. You want to be scoring first. Header West Ham from the corner. There was a VAR penalty check. We don't really know why. But it was a big chance before that for West Ham. Pickford made a big save. Then there was a penalty check. But then from the subsequent corner, it's Soucek who has scored. And that is a huge goal, says Wardo. It is. It definitely is. Because as you can see, I need to update that. But it puts West Ham 5 points clear as things stand of Wolves. Well, not of Wolves, of Spurs. Poor defending by Everton. Especially when they conceded a goal like this last week as well. Remember Everton conceded a goal from a corner last week. And it's not dissimilar again. Tarkowski beaten in the air by Van Dijk this week. And beaten in the air by Soucek this week. It's a 4-point gap, Mark. Sorry. Sorry. Sorry, it's a 4-point gap because Spurs are drawing, of course. Still significant. Still very significant because it's it's more than a result, isn't it? So West Ham leading 1-0. Spurs drawing 0-0. Constantine says it's a little shocking that you see the big four, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United, there in the table. However, do you think we can see some of the smaller teams make a run in the future? No. I don't think smaller teams are infiltrating the top four. I mean, when we say smaller teams, I mean I think Villa and Newcastle might be able to do it, but yeah. Remember Spurs can still get back into it. I mean, a goal for them changes everything. If West Ham win and Spurs win, it's as you were. Bayern have made it 3-3 against Mainz, by the way. Bayern are very much a second-half team. They do go behind quite a lot in games. Heidenheim have just scored against St. Pauli. That's a terrible, terrible goal for them to concede. And Wolfsburg in the bottom two. Big club Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga. They're 0-0 at home to Mönchengladbach, which is not good for them. They need wins, not draws. So Spurs got about 40 minutes to get back into this. Big goal by Soucek. Yeah, Bayern were 3-0 down at half time. Not no more. Man City are playing Southampton at 5:15. Yeah, couldn't give a toss. Wolves haven't scored. No, they haven't. No, they haven't. Don't fall for it in the chat. They're liars trying to get your attention. If Wolves score, I'll know about it. Palace are dominating Liverpool, but they are 2-0 down. Kane has scored for Bayern. They're 4-3 now. They were 3-0 down, and now it is 4-3. What a comeback by Bayern Munich. course, former manager of West Ham, David Moyes, as well. How many goals do you think Arsenal will score? I mean, I think Arsenal need to be looking to win every game 3-0 to give themselves a chance. They haven't really done it all season, have they? So they've got to play more on the front foot, certainly. But that puts a bit more pressure onto Spurs, as I said, at half-time. A point's not good for them anyway, which means they've got to attack more. But look, don't count out Everton. They can still get back into this, and don't count out Spurs yet. Sorry, I'm just going to change some settings in the chat because some people are getting a bit upset, and we don't want that. Good result for Chelsea. We're getting Fabregas, says Max. Chelsea shouldn't mess about with what they're doing. Do you think Szoboszlai will get an assist for FPL, says Tactical Blues? Let me just double check that he's actually playing for Liverpool today. Well, he might do because he is on the pitch still. Spurs game is like an end-of-season friendly. Someone needs to remind them what's at stake. They look finished, says Nick P. You look at that Spurs bench, incredible, the amount of quality that's on there on paper. And I said it a few weeks ago, and a few Spurs fans weren't happy about it. And then 2 weeks ago, a few Spurs fans agreed with it. I think there are players in that Spurs team that know going down makes their life easier. Like, if you go down, they've got to get rid of you. And if they've got to get rid of you, they've got to let you go cheap. And if you go cheap, you'll have lots of offers. So I think that there are Spurs players that are looking to go down. I'm not going to name names because it's not fair, but there's just no way with the players they've got, they shouldn't have won a game. And anybody who says that's not very fair to say that, they're checking a VAR penalty in the West Ham game. Things could get worse for Spurs. No, not a penalty. No. They haven't won a game in 2026. They haven't won a Premier League game in 2026. So you're telling me that these players at Spurs aren't thinking going down might be better for my career? And if they don't like that, I mean, they're not going to care about me saying it. But if Spurs fans say it and they don't like it, well, prove them wrong. You know, I always say this about United as well. Like, if players don't like being criticised for being shit, stop being shit. Why does the modern player think that it's okay? You know. Couple of injury news is coming in here. Salah has a hamstring injury by the looks of it. And Xavi Simons has done a bad injury as well. And they're dropping. He might be out of the World Cup by the looks of it. Some people are saying he might have done his ACL. Max says, do you rate Fabregas? I think genius would be the key. I think Czech says Fabregas has done a good job at Como, but I don't know really. you know, Ten Hag did a great job at Ajax, didn't he? Miller, thank you very much for your super chat. If Liverpool score again, they go above Man United. Yeah, only till Monday night when we play. I mean, you're telling me Brentford will win at Old Trafford. I think we'll win, but we should get at least a draw. Not looking good for Xavi Simons. He's still on the pitch receiving treatment, apparently, which means that this game is going to run and run. Don't think it's necessarily an ACL. Someone just said they're working on him on the pitch. I mean, I don't want him to miss the World Cup. Oh, I tell you what, just while we're waiting here, went to the shop this morning with Seb, and he normally gets a little bottle of Oasis to drink. He loves Oasis, favourite song, Slide Away. And they didn't have any, so I said, what else do you want? And he got original Lucozade, right? So we're walking back, and he opens it up. And I said, well, let me just have a quick taste, because I've not had it for years. Original Lucozade is a proper good drink. I used to have it when I was a kid, when I was ill. Anyone remember like the special wrapping paper around it? Lucozade, I mean, it's probably not good for you, is it? I don't know. But what a lovely drink the original Lucozade is. Proper puts air on your chest. It doesn't. That's advertising standards. But yeah, really liked it. Do you like the orange flavour? No, I like all those Lucozade with the squirty bottle tops, but the original one's really nice. We're not sponsored by Lucozade. If they want to sponsor us, they can do, but we're not. I think Simons has come off. I think he's come off. Not 100% sure. No, he's not come off yet, says Crackers. Salah's coming off as a precaution, according to Jamer. Mr. Al-Shamari says, did you see the end of the York-Rochdale game? I didn't. So I don't even know. I don't even know what happened in that game. York win promotion with a 103rd minute equaliser at Rochdale. Oh, my God. That is harsh. I think Xavi Simons is coming off. That's what we're getting. Oil Cruiser says Salah looked like that was his last appearance. Oh, they've still got another game. Apparently Somerville's just gone down with a knee injury as well. I mean, it's not looking good for Dutch wingers here, is it? Or Dutch attackers. Xavi Simons in tears, says Riot. Stretchers coming on for Xavi Simons, says Crackers. Palhinha and Bergvall coming on for Basuma and Simons. Not really goal scorers, are they? What about Toblerone and a sponsorship, says Rob? I would love to be sponsored by Toblerone, but not for the reasons some of you would say. I don't think Xavi Simons is happy about getting on the stretcher here, but I think they're telling him to. Galaxy Ripples are very good, Reece Talks United. They are. Mark Singer's Tea and Toast. Cup of tea and biscuits. It wasn't tea and toast. And actually, I would never sing it again because it was crap. Spurs have picked up 3 injuries so far, says Caitlin. Yeah, it's not looking good for them, is it? But I don't have a lot of sympathy for Spurs because I genuinely think when you look at the team and the bench they've got, to have not won a game in the Premier League this calendar year is abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. And they are where they deserve to be. And they've got half an hour to try and get back into this game. Have you ever had a battered Mars bar, says Mr. Sausage? No, but I have had a Mars bar where it was in my back pocket and I sat on it on a hot day and it was very squashed and it was actually quite nice. Havertz starting over Gyökeres again. Look, I don't want to see players injured anyway. I don't want to see, I'm a Man United fan. I don't want to see Liverpool players injured. But I definitely don't want to see a load of injuries in the last few weeks of the season because this World Cup's a big deal, isn't it? And, I'm not even going to name names, but imagine if we lost certain players for the World Cup. You don't want it. It's such a big tournament. I really don't want to see it. I know Gnabry is out for the World Cup for Germany. Yamal's a bit of a doubt. Obviously, we've seen a couple of injuries today. I mean, Solanke, I wouldn't take him anyway, but I don't want big name players. Hi Mark, hope you and the family are well. Been a huge fan since the call-ins under Jose. Have a pint on me, says Chrome. Thank you very much, pal. Thanks for your super chat. Appreciate you, as always. We are live for Arsenal against Newcastle as well, which I think will be a very good game. Well, Arsenal have to win. West Ham 1-0 against Everton. 22 minutes to go. Liverpool are 2-0 up against Crystal Palace. That puts them joint third with Man United as things stand and ahead of Aston Villa. And Spurs are 0-0 with Wolves. They need to win. Frimpong came on for Salah. Jason Marsh says Premier League games called off because of FA Cup, but tonight's games clash. I know. Make it make sense, Jason. I just don't understand what they do with the FA Cup, giving it the whole weekend after an international break. But then this weekend for the semi-final, Man City kicking off at the same time as Arsenal Newcastle. Those viewing numbers, by the way. I mean, Jason, you deserve a medal. Absolutely deserve a medal. You're so right. We come back from an international break. We all want the Premier League because it's not been played for 2 weeks. They don't put the Premier League on. They put FA Cup quarterfinals on, which are a bag of shite. Then the FA Cup semi-final weekend, they put one of them on at the same time as Arsenal Newcastle. I guarantee you 90% of people are going to watch Arsenal Newcastle over Wolves, over Man City Southampton. The only people who are going to watch that are Man City and Southampton fans in the main. Big 20 minutes left. The honest answer is that Tottenham have had nearly 70 minutes of play against Wolves, and again, they've not had a shot on target. You can't win a game if you don't have a shot on target. Nobody can tell me that this Spurs team gets what they're in here. I mean, Wolves haven't had a shot on target either, but it's just they're going through. It feels like they're going through the motions. Spurs players. There's no emotion. It's just motion. Barcelona are 1-0 up against Getafe in La Liga. So I'm going to quick look at the lineups. Yeah, Rashford's on the bench again. Torres and Rooney and Olmo playing ahead of him. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Got nearly 11,000. And please do subscribe. Saka's on the bench for Arsenal. We'll give you the early team news in that game. Kicking off in just over an hour's time. Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Hincapié, Odegaard, Zimmermendi and Rice, Madueke, Havertz and Eze. They've got to go for goals. On the bench, you've got Kepa, Dauman, Gyökeres, Lewis Skelly, Martinelli, Mosquera, Saka, Trossard and Jesus. Spurs have just had their first shot on target. It was actually a header from a corner, but I believe there was an offside anyway. Newcastle's lineup: Pope, Miley, Tau, Botman, Byrne, Bruno G, Tonali, Ramsey, Jacob Murphy, Osolo and Willock. Lewis Hall on the bench. Wizzer and Voltameda on the bench. I've got no idea why you'd be benching Lewis Hall for Dan Burn. I've got no idea what's going on there, but I'll leave that with Newcastle and their fans. As Lewis Jackson says, why is Lewis Hall on the bench? No idea. MST says, I think Barcelona are a scummy team for not paying for Rashford. Not paying for Rashford. Barcelona will do what's best for Barcelona, won't they? They're not going to think about anything else. Crystal Palace have got a goal back. Should have reported that one a little bit quicker. Liverpool fans were saying one more goal and they're third. Well, not anymore, because you've conceded. And it's 2-1. I don't know who scored for Palace, but it's definitely saying 2-1. Still 1-0 West Ham Everton. I mean, that's squeaky bum time, isn't it? How many times do we see late goals? How many times? Yeah, it is Liverpool 2-1. And the goal is Muniz. What price say ye? Hear ye, hear ye. Hear ye, hear ye. Hear ye, hear ye. What price? What price are we going to say that there is a late goal here in the West Ham game or the Spurs game? What twist and turn are you going to predict? 2-1 to Palace. Should any of those playoff matches happen, I think none of them deserve to go to the World Cup. They're all crap, says Kenneth. Well, the World Cup is massive this year. Apparently, the Liverpool goal should not stand. Right, I'm just going to have to go on socials and try and find this now. What a weird goal for Palace. Give me a Twitter account that's got it. There's a keeper shortage at Anfield, says Gav. Oh, don't shout out. I mean, don't count out. Okay, so I have seen it now. The Liverpool goal. Sorry, the Palace goal. I mean, the keeper seems to get, well, not fouled. Why would they stop the game? Nobody fouled the keeper, says Duh. Well, basically, Palace forward goes into a 50-50 with the keeper. And he goes down injured, waving at the ref. The ref says play on, and Muniz scores. But I don't know. Get yourself on social media and have a look at it. It's tough. It's tough to see what... It's tough to see what actually happens to the keeper. The ball goes through. He hurts his knee. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it because the keeper hurts himself in making the save, and then Muniz just puts it into the goal. It's not like the Palace player hits him. It's not like it's a head injury. He makes a save. He hurts his knee. He waves that he's hurt his knee, and Muniz just puts it into the back of the net. And apparently somebody's just thrown the ball at Muniz at the ground as well. He needs to be very careful, these Liverpool fans. We don't want to see that. I think too many people in real life think they can do things they shouldn't be doing. Somebody said, what about unsportsmanlike? No. I was asked whether the goal should be not given. You can't blame the referee. Unsportsmanlike, 100%. You can definitely make that argument. But the referee can't... The question was the goal shouldn't have been given. You can't not give the goal. There's no ground for the referee to rule that out. The goalkeeper injures himself, and Muniz puts it into the net. So I don't think it's one of the ones where you can blame the PGMOL on it, to be honest with you. 2-1 then. Liverpool Palace. Bit of controversy there. West Ham still 1-0 up against Everton, and Wolves against Tottenham remains 0-0. Tottenham need a goal. Dramatic scenes here this afternoon in the Premier League, but not necessarily where we thought there was going to be drama. Palace have got a goal back. Liverpool fans aren't very happy. You are still winning 2-1. Should any of the... done that one from Kenneth. Thanks for your super chats. Please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner. Still 15 minutes to go, and probably a little bit more, if we're being honest, at Molineux because of the injuries, especially the one to Simmons. Spurs not creating chances. Sorry, I just lost the live chat there. Thank you, everybody tuning in. If Liverpool win the game, they won't complain anyway, says Josh. Yeah, plenty of time. Plenty of time to go. Talking about goalkeeping injuries, the Wolves goalkeeper has just gone down here. Do you feel sorry for De Zerbi? No, isn't he the second or third best paid manager in the Premier League, and he's got a 5-year deal? I mean, basically, De Zerbi is... he can't be touched. Obviously, I think he wants to stay in the Premier League, but if they go down, They'll have to come straight back up. He's on very, very good money. I bet he doesn't get... I tell you what, I bet De Zerbi doesn't get a wage cut. Thank you very much for Kenneth for your super chats there. Nick says, talking about unfair goals, I remember Darren Bent scoring a goal against Liverpool in 2009 where the beach ball hit the ball. Yeah, I remember that as well. Jordan says, is anyone sad about Spurs going down? I do feel bad for any football fan that has to put up with the downside of the modern game. And unfortunately, Spurs have a collection of players that do not have the best interests of Spurs Football Club at heart. I've never seen such shit in all my life. You can just tell they're not switched on. And, as I said earlier, say what you like about Liverpool or United or Chelsea, but this was Spurs' bench today. Their bench. Bergvall, Dragerson, Gray, Palhinha, Maddison, Tell, Richarlison, Sousa. That bench, on paper, is stacked. And that's their bench. So, how have they not won a game since Christmas? Look, maybe they'll get a late winner here. They definitely need to. Because if West Ham win... And look, it's not over at West Ham. It's only 1-0. 7 minutes to go. Everton, just warning you now, Everton do have a tendency to score late goals. I tell you what, that's good advertising, isn't it? The way that's spun around. All good? My bloody hip's killing me. Yeah, we're live for Newcastle at Arsenal at 5:30. Thanks to Gab United. Natasha is gone. Poor old Natasha. Mohammed says, just joined. How Liverpool doing? Well, they were cruising at 2-0. And then it's sort of gone wrong since then. Thanks for all your super chats today, by the way. Do that through the $sign. Thank you so much, everybody who subscribed as well. Big week coming up on That's Football. My favourite game this week, and there are some good ones. Looking forward to Baller League on Monday night again. Man United against Brentford on Monday night as well. But the game I'm looking forward to the most, because Real Madrid-Bayern was just a pleasure. It was football heritage. I just can't wait for Bayern Munich against PSG on Tuesday. I just can't wait for it. It's just football. The real Ghost Chasers, why did you change your chair? Is the new one better? The old chair was very good, but it was old and it didn't really have a lot of. It was a bit rocky, so I definitely needed a new one. I think Spurs have scored. Look, they're talking about offside, but I think Spurs have scored. And that's a big moment. A huge moment. And I think Everton might have a penalty as well, somebody said in the chat. We'll keep you updated here. Tottenham have definitely scored. Palhinha has scored for Tottenham. That's definite. We don't know whether it's offside. He's onside. He looks onside. Whoever that Wolves player is at the back is a prat. He stood there playing them on. I mean, it might be marginal, but I think that might be marginal offside. I don't know. I don't know whether anyone else can see it. I think they're going to review it, but apparently it's been given already. It's already been given. People in the chat saying it's definitely been given. Not offside. What a goal. Almost feel a bit sad about that. I do feel a bit sad as well. No penalty to Everton. says Time Lord. No penalty for Everton. But Spurs have got a goal. A goal has been given. Can Wolves get an equaliser in the next 7 minutes? Remember, they go to Villa next week, and Villa will be sandwiched in between 2 massive games themselves. And West Ham have got 2 big games coming up. Brentford away and then Arsenal at home. So this could be a big... Well, Wolves might try and win it themselves. Spurs might try and win themselves, remember. Oh, they are winning. What am I talking about? I thought they'd equalised. I'm getting confused. Some people saying it was offside. I can't tell you whether it was offside or not. Obviously, I don't think it was. VAR. Says not. Daz says no way it was off. Of course it wasn't. Max says appreciation for all the mods, Mark. It's all going on. Well, it wasn't a penalty for Everton. They're still losing 1-0 to West Ham. The table does look like that at the moment. Nick P says, oh, goal Everton. Is it a goal for Everton? I'm getting stuff in the chat. I'm getting stuff in the chat, but I don't know whether we've got it. It is. It's a goal for Everton in the 88th minute. How has this turned around for Spurs? Oh, no. I can't believe it. I've got nothing against Everton, of course. I've got nothing against Everton. I just don't really want to see West Ham going down. And it is a goal for Everton. It's 1-1. Apologies for that. I thought we were being scammed in the chat, which can happen. But it is a goal for Everton. And it is 1-1. Penalty scare for West Ham before that, but I didn't jinx it. What I said a few minutes ago was Everton, away from home, have a very, very big tendency to equalise late on. I can't remember who they did it against recently. Well, they've done it again. 1-1. Everton. I did call it. You're right. I've played the game. Dewsbury Hall, who I think they did it against somebody recently. Was it Brighton or Bournemouth? Or they did it really recently. Because I benefited from it in win, lose or draw. And the bad thing is Spurs are safe. As things stand, Spurs are safe. Better goal difference than West Ham. Both on 34. The turn around there is incredible. In the space of 5 minutes, it's gone from West Ham having a 4-point gap to being level. And that is how quickly things can change. Huge scenes here. Penga says West Ham going down is a real shame. Well, look, the trouble is West Ham are in the bottom 3 now. They play Brentford away and Arsenal at home. You can see them losing both of those. Whereas for Spurs, it's Villa, who have got their eye on the Europa League, and then it's Leeds, who are safe. So from Spurs' point of view, today could be the day. Today could be the day. West Ham have messed this up, says Hackers. The West Ham bubble could well and truly been popped here. 8 minutes added on. Apparently Rashford scored for Barcelona. Well, he must have come on then because he was on the bench before that. Liverpool looking like they're going to get the win. Who's to say Everton won't win it? Yeah, Nick P saying Mavropanos doesn't deserve a miserable Spurs side relegating his team. West Ham going down, real shame, says Pengas. David Moyes revenge, says Asu. Yes, yeah. I mean, look, Everton are having a great season, though. I am live for the Arsenal game, Kim. Yeah, straight after this. Right. West Ham are going to need to find a result from somewhere, aren't they? Their final... I did go through their fixtures, but this was one they needed to win. They really needed to win. Bowen with the cross. Everton dealing with that. Yeah, look at West Ham's next games. Brentford away, Arsenal at home, Newcastle away, Leeds at home. I can see them! Go West Ham! 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 Oh my God, the scenes! The absolute scenes! It's Callum Wilson! I think it's Callum Wilson! West Ham have scored! Wow! Wow! I can't believe it! I absolutely can't believe it! We're into stoppage time. You'd think Everton are going to deal with the cross. They've lofted it in. And Callum Wilson, for a moment, you think he might miss. He's got all the time in the world. Goal West Ham. That's all you need to know. That could be absolutely massive. Absolutely massive for this Premier League relegation race. It's a cross into the back post. I don't know who wins the header. Jared Bowen. You know Jill Scott. Praise Jill Scott. I saw Jill Scott getting loads of shit on the overlap. And that assist by Jared Bowen is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Check it out. He gets up on the back post. And it's an incredible assist. And it's an incredible assist by Jared Bowen, and Callum Wilson takes his time and scores. Still 1-0 between Spurs and Wolves. Some people are throwing in lies about Wolves' goals. There isn't one. Today's the most I've ever seen Rashford press, says Bullets. How things change around. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Look, there's still time here for Everton to do something. There's still time. Woo! Wow. 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 I think that, look, as I said, the most important thing is West Ham are now 2 points clear of Spurs, but they've got a tough run in, West Ham. If they'd have drawn this game, and they still can, if they'd have drawn this game, as I said, away to Brentford, home to Arsenal, away to Newcastle, home to Leeds, they're going to have to try and get a result out of one of them as well. Even today, I feel like West Ham need 2 wins from the last 4, even if they win today. But at least it keeps the pressure on Spurs. Remember, Spurs are heading towards their first win of the season. First win of 2024. 2026. 2024. Don't know what I'm talking about. Don't know what I'm talking about. Come on, Wolves, please score, says Jack. Thanks for your super chat. Spurs are not going down. It's only a 2-point gap. It's just a big goal for West Ham in the context. It's the first win of 2026. We are 4 minutes added on in the Wolves-Tottenham game, and we are 6 minutes West Ham-Everton. Liverpool are going to beat Palace, by the way. That's still 2-1 into stoppage time as well. There's no Wolves goal. You're being scammed in the chat. Just ignore the live chat. They're just trying to... Sad people trying to banter people. Everton are on the attack against West Ham, though. Oh, for a minute there. It's pressure. This is pressure. Absolute pressure. David Moyes looked like he'd done it against his old team. Everton still trying to do it. Plenty of teams got results at Brentford, to be fair. Even Spurs, says Kenneth. To be fair, I think Brentford have drawn their last 5 games, haven't they? So, yeah. I just think if West Ham had drawn this game, I think they'd have been in big, big trouble. Really big trouble. Liverpool have scored again. 3-1. They've done the game there. Salutations. Thank you very much for your super chat. We are back at 5:30 for Newcastle against Arsenal at the Emirates. Arsenal need a win and they need goals. Liverpool have made it 3-1 in stoppage time. Wirtz with the goal in the 96th minute. Still a couple of minutes to go at West Ham. Salutation says Wolves to take Spurs down with them. If they're going to do that, they're going to need to score, which they haven't done yet. Spurs are winning 1-0 at Wolves. But remember, Everton had equalised with 2 minutes to go, and it was not looking good for West Ham. But a brilliant assist by Bowen. And they are back level now. Everton probing here, trying to get the ball in the box. West Ham are going to have to defend for at least a couple of minutes. 2-1. It's been a brilliant watch along. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. But West Ham are breaking away now. And they've won a free kick. And we've just hit 98 minutes. Bert scored the 3rd goal for Liverpool, yeah. Somerville needs a move, says Fruit Jack. Well, one of those two are going to go down. It's going to be West Ham or it's going to be Spurs. One of the two are going down. And you're right, there'll be an abundance of players. Burger says, haters where you are, Isak and Wirtz. Mate, I genuinely don't think anyone's taking any... I don't want to be horrible to you, but I don't think most football fans are thinking I'm being sat down by Isak and Wirtz today. I think they're more focused on West Ham, Everton and Spurs against Wolves. I don't think anyone's really thinking about it, to be honest. Match reaction. My match reaction will be going live at 5:30 for Newcastle and Arsenal. I won't have time to do a match reaction today on any of these. They're still playing at West Ham. 10 minutes added on. Liverpool is over, 3-1. Still playing at West Ham. Still playing at Wolves. And Wolves have got a free kick. It's finished at West Ham. It's 2-1 to West Ham. That's a big, big, big 3 points. Full time. There. Free kick to Wolves. This is it, really. Imagine. Imagine. Free kick to Wolves. 90 plus 9. It would take something very special Kinski makes the save. It goes for a corner. That's probably that. Redeeming himself there, Kinski, isn't he, after the nightmare in Madrid. And the corner's headed away. It does finish with a win for Spurs, but West Ham have got the win as well. So Spurs very happy with the win. Their first win of the calendar year. There's lots of hugs for Spurs. I suppose it's they've just cut to the Wolves game and they're running around like they've won the World Cup again. I mean, I suppose it's their first win of the calendar year, isn't it? It might make them believe. Great show, great show. Ultimately, we are as we were. Both West Ham and Liverpool winning and Spurs winning. So we're pretty much as we were. Having said that, lots and lots of drama. And I'm back with you at 5:30 as Arsenal try and get their title aspirations back on the road. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you in about 20 minutes. Take care. Thanks for watching.